What exactly is SIP? 4 advantages of using a systematic investment plan. And SIP investment plan uses the power of compounding to help investors create wealth consistently and regularly over time, regardless of market timing or volatility. Investors want a strong strategy to consistently develop wealth over the long term, and one of the finest such techniques is the systematic investment plan, SIP. But what exactly is a SIP, and how might it help investors build wealth? Simply expressed, a SIP is a deliberate and systematic plan that assists investors in gradually and steadily achieving their financial goals. As we all know, developing excellent habits takes effort. That is true for exercise, adopting a diet, and even saving and investing money. A goal without a strategy is just a desire. This is also true when it comes to investing. You will struggle to achieve your financial objectives if you do not create a plan describing how and when you intend to invest. Today, one of the most tried and tested ways to invest successfully is through a systematic investment plan, SIP. And in this video, we'll look at what a SIP is and how it can help you acquire wealth and reach your financial goals over time. We'll go over 1. What exactly is a SIP investing plan? A strategic investment plan, SIP, is a financial planning instrument that allows investors to generate long-term wealth by putting a certain amount of money in an investment portfolio on a constant and regular basis. Let us unpack this concept by looking at some of its components. Regularity and consistency. To begin, a SIP needs consistency and regularity. Mr. Jesse, for example, can invest AED 1,000 at the end of each month through a SIP, but Mrs. Harris can invest AED 2,000 on the 15th of each month through a SIP. While their investing strategies differ, they share 2 features that make them both SIPs: consistency and regularity. To emphasize the significance of these 2 factors, consider the following instances. If Mr. James invests AED 1,000 in 1 month, then AED 3,000 3 months and 15 days later, and then another AED 2,000 the following month, his actions do not qualify as a SIP. Assume Mrs. James invests AED 5,000 in January and AED 10,000 in December. Her actions do not qualify as SIP. Only Mr. Jesse and Mrs. Harris are using a SIP in the cases above. Definite amount. Also, in addition to investing on a regular basis, every end of the month or 15th of the month, Mr. Jesse and Mrs. Harris invest a specific sum, AED 1,000 and 2,000 respectively. It's all about developing a habit through regular recurring sums, similar to auto deposits. This is also important for classifying an investing system as a SIP. An investment portfolio. Because SIP is consistent and regular, investors in such programs should have an investing portfolio in which they invest on a regular basis. Most SIP investors prefer passive investing, in which they invest a certain amount of money on a regular basis in a portfolio of index funds or ETFs. They can accomplish this through a digital wealth manager who designs portfolios tailored to an investor's risk tolerance, time horizon, and present financial status. However, there are SIP investors that believe in active investing. These investors choose to build their own portfolios by actively purchasing and selling stocks and ETFs in order to meet their financial objectives. Long-term wealth creation. Building wealth gradually and steadily is the proven approach to become wealthy without falling victim to market timing or questionable investment fads. And SIP guarantees that you will stick to this gradual and steady approach to investing. An SIP investor devotes cash consistently and regularly to a well-crafted investing portfolio rather than chasing fads. What distinguishes a SIP from a DCA? Many people may be wondering how it differs from a systematic investment plan, SIP. Well, the DTA is a technique in which someone with a lump sum, say AED 100,000, agrees to invest that lump sum systematically over a long period of time, say AED 10,000 at the end of every month for the next 10 months. This also entails a specific amount invested consistently and on a regular basis until the lump sum is depleted. With a SIP, however, the investor does not set aside the total investable income for periodic investments. Instead, the investor sets aside a portion of their normal income and continually invests that percentage in the market. In this manner, the SIP investor practices what is known as lump sum investing, in which they invest the complete investable income they have available at regular periods, usually every month. The SIPE investor is not concerned with placing a large chunk of money into the market all at once. Rather, they are focused with investing their regular income in a methodical manner. Mr. Jesse, for example, does not have AED 12,000 at the start of the year. Instead, he deducts AED 1,000 from his monthly salary. As a result, while the two systems have similar benefits, the mindset varies with SIPE because it is employed as a long-term investing plan. 2. How does SIPE work? Compound interest is the driving force behind a SIPE. To ask what a SIPE is to ask what compounding is. Simply said, compounding is the process through which money earns more money, and that extra money earns more money, and so on indefinitely. Compound interest refers to the extra money that money earns. If an interest earns additional interest that earns additional interest, it is compound rather than simple. This compounding effect is the wealth-creating engine. It was called the eighth wonder of the world by Albert Einstein. But what does it have to do with SIPE? SIPE encourages investors to participate in the market on a regular and continuous basis, allowing them to earn greater compound interest over time. Similarly, SIPE supports the use of lump sum investing, which is a strategy that directs investors to put all of their investable capital into the market at once, often every month after being paid a salary, rather than spreading out the same amount over a longer period of time. This allows investors to spend more time in the market, generating the most possible compound interest. Let's use an example to illustrate the 2 points raised above. The individual who invests AED 5,000 at the end of January is better off than the person who invests AED 500 every month for the next 10 months. Why? The former earns compound interest on AED 5,000 right away, but the latter only earns compound interest on AED 500. By the end of October, the former would have potentially accumulated higher returns due to compound interest if there was a bull market. This scenario is more plausible than the alternative since the market rises more than it falls, see below. However, the individual who invests AED 5,000 in January is better off than the person who invests AED 5,000 in January and then again in July. When compared to the investor who only invests twice a year, the regular and persistent investor would have earned greater compound returns month after month. The SIPE investor makes a monthly investment of AED 5,000. In the conditions outlined above, he is the one most positioned to profit from the market. 3. What are the advantages of SIPE? Now that we've established how SIPE works, let's look at some of its advantages. Interest on interest. As we showed in the last section, a systematic investment plan, SIPE, generates more potential wealth-building channels through compounding than other unsystematic investment methods. In a bear market, there is an opportunity for protection because a SIPE comprises a set amount that is continuously and routinely invested. It provides some benefits akin to dollar cost averaging, DCA. One of these is loss mitigation in a down market, possibility of gaining long-term exposure benefits. Instead of saving your money and investing a portion of it on a regular basis, SIPE encourages lump sum investing, which means investing whatever you have all at once. Instead of procrastinating and waiting for a more opportune period, the SIPE investor spends longer time in the market, collecting maximum compound income from the start. Removes emotional investment. Fear and greed, according to Warren Buffett, are two emotional impediments to effective investing. Fear happens when prices are falling in bear markets, while greed happens when prices are rising in bull markets. While the former leads to individuals selling at a loss, the later leads to people buying just as the market is about to correct. This fear and greed cycle can be broken with SIPE. SIPE investors, as we have seen, can endure bear markets better rather than being terrified. Furthermore, bull markets allow them to earn compound interest on all of their wealth-generating routes. Furthermore, because SIPE investors are long-term investors and the market rises more than it falls, as shown in the graph below, they can be relaxed and secure in their plan while others are scared or greedy. Between 1926 and 2019, the CRSP US Whole Stock Market Index performed well. The market increased 74% of the time and sank 26% of the time between 1926 and 2019. Over this time span, the SIPE investor who was committed to the long term would have gained. Increases the discipline required for effective investing. A commitment to a strategic plan assists investors in developing the discipline required to attain their financial objectives. We won't accomplish much if we simply invest when we feel like it, because spending is more natural than investing. However, by investing consistently and frequently through a SIPE, we acquire control over our resources. SIPE investors who use passive investing can even use automatic investing, which ensures that a set sum is automatically taken from their accounts and deposited into their investment portfolios on a set date. 4. How safe are SIPE plans? When it comes to the security of SIPE plans, 3 factors must be considered. Time in the market lowers risk. SIPE plans remove emotion from investing. Instead of fretting about how the market will perform this month or next, the SIPE investor commits a certain amount to the market on a steady and regular basis. Is this, however, safe, especially while the market is falling? For one thing, we've already mentioned that SIPE investors, like DCA investors, can find additional security in a weak market by getting more shares for the same amount over a period of downturn. The second argument to make is that the more time an investor stays in the market, the less likely it is that they will lose money. As a result, by staying in the market for the long run, SIPE investors may ignore intermediate volatility and instead concentrate on the eventual goal. According to the data, investors who stayed in the market for only 1 month between 1926 and 2019 had a 38% probability of losing money. At the other end of the spectrum, people who invested for 15 years between 1926 and 2019 had a 0.2% probability of losing money. As previously stated, the market grew 74% of the time from 1926 and 2019. Investing persistently in the market without regard for current market volatility will be rewarding in the long run. SIPE provides an approach for doing so in this manner. That's all, fellas. Thank you for watching. Please leave your opinions in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos.